Okay, part 11. This is chapter 6. We are verse 20. We're talking about these stars. Let's figure out what happened to them. So it says, "The stars which roll over the fire, and they which have transgressed the commandments of the Lord in the beginning of their rising, because they did not come forth at their appointed time. And he was wroth with them, and bound them till the time when their guilt should be consummated for 10,000 years." So what does this mean exactly? What I got from this is the stars, right? They're under commandment. They're supposed to go where they're supposed to go based on what God has told them. It says, like what I just read, they transgressed the commandment of the Lord, which means that they chose to disobey. It says they did not come forth at their appointed time. Okay. And because of that, he was wroth. So he was angry with them, and he bound them till the time when they are guilty. When the guilty should be consummated for 10,000 years. So the stars were late for work? Pretty much. They didn't show up on time as they were asked, and now they're bound. Imagine being late for work and you show up and you're like, sorry guys. And they're like, yeah, you're going straight to prison. Okay. Not gonna lie, I kind of feel bad for these 7 stars that are like bound beyond heaven and earth because they were late for work. But hey, that's between them and God. I wasn't there. Verse 22, "And Uriel is an angel, and Uriel said to me, here shall stand the angels who have connected themselves with women," again, those are the watchers, "and their spirits, assuming many different forms, are defiling mankind, and shall lead them astray into sacrificing to demons as gods. Here shall they stand till the end of the day, till the day of great judgment, in which they shall be judged, till they are made an end of. And the women also of the angels who went astray shall become sirens." I know a lot of you are here for the sirens conversation. So what are we hearing right now? This great black, like darkness abyss. We know that there are 7 stars that are bound because they did not listen. They didn't show up when they were supposed to. We now know that the watchers, or the fallen, they are also going to be bound over there. And we're actually hearing that the women are being held accountable. They are going to be turned into sirens, and they also will be placed in this area. So what is a siren? Well, it depends on what you read. Greek mythology, which you'll find has so many things that sound almost exactly like what we're talking about here in the Book of Enoch. And a lot of these ancient texts, different ones or mythologies, are very similar. But a siren, we know, is supposed to be a part woman and part bird. I've also read that it's part woman, part jackal. So all we know is that these women were transformed into something that isn't really nice to look at. But they sing beautifully. So meet me in the next chapter. Hey, so part 12, this is chapter 7. It's called The Holy Angels. I love this chapter because this one starts to tell you or introduce to you the names of the angels and what they are in charge of. So let's get started. Okay, so verse 2, Uriel, one of the holy angels, who is over the world and over Tartarus. All right, so Tartarus is what is considered to be the underworld. So we just talked about that blackness, that abyss area. That's what Angel Uriel is over. And again, if you look at Greek mythology, which I kid you not, like they're so comparable to this. Greek mythology, Tartarus is known as the underworld, the darkness, the place underneath, like, away from everybody else. Raphael, one of the holy angels, who is over the spirits of men. That's us. Raphael's over our spirits. Raguel, one of the holy angels, takes vengeance on the world of the luminaries. So remember, the luminaries where we're talking about the sun, the stars, the moon. So Raguel takes vengeance on the world for them. Michael, everyone knows Archangel Michael. Michael, he that is set over the best part of mankind and over chaos. Interesting, right? So he's over chaos, okay, but also over the best part of mankind. That's amazing. Sarachael, who is set over the spirits who sin in the spirit. Gabriel, who is over paradise and the serpents and the cherubims. Angel Remiel is who God set over those who rise. So those are the 7 angels that were named in the Book of Enoch. Verse 9, Enoch says that he decided to go back over to that place of chaos, the horrible place where he saw the 7 stars that were bound together. And he asked, "For what sin are they bound? On what account have they been cast in hither?" Uriel says, "Enoch, why do you ask this? Why are you so eager for the truth? These are the number of stars of heaven which have transgressed the commandments of the Lord. Therefore they are bound here for 10,000 years. The time entailed by their sins are consummated." So Enoch says, okay, great. He goes over to another place that has just great burning fire, and he asks, how fearful is this place and how terrible to look upon? Uriel says, "Enoch, why have you so much fear and fright?" Enoch says, "Because it's a fearful place." And Uriel says, "This place is the prison of the angels, and here they will be imprisoned for forever." Then he goes to another place called the Mountain of Hard Rock, and he noticed that there were 4 hollow places, deep and wide and very smooth. So let's find out what that is in the next video. Okay, part 13. So we're now talking about the 4 hollow places that were very dark and very smooth. What are they? So Raphael answers and says, "These hollow places have been created for this purpose, that the spirits of the souls of the dead should assemble, that all the souls of the children of men should assemble here. These places have been made to receive them till the day of their judgment, until their appointed period, till the great judgment upon them." Okay, so we've learned where those 7 stars are bound. We've learned where the giants would end up becoming, or what they're becoming. They're becoming evil spirits. We learned where the fallen are going to be placed, the sirens. So this area is talking about people, like the souls of humanity, like where are they going to go? And so if you pay attention, he said that they're going to sit here, like basically after someone dies, their soul's going to sit in this place and wait until Judgment Day. Okay, still chapter 7 now, verse 21. "I saw a dead man making suit." Now, the word suit here is used as he's making like a plea, an argument. He's making a plea. So, "I saw a dead man making suit, and his voice went forth to heaven and made suit," made a plea. "I asked Raphael the angel, I said, this spirit which maketh this suit, who is it? Whose voice goes forth and makes suit to heaven?" Raphael answered and said, "This is the spirit which went forth from Abel, whom his brother Cain slew. He makes suit against him till his seed is destroyed from the face of the earth, and his seed is annihilated from amongst the seed of men." Abel? Cain and Abel? This is the spirit of Abel, the brother that was killed. He's making an argument or pleading that, and he will continue to plead this until all of his brother Cain's seed, so his lineage, is completely annihilated from earth. Talk about holding a grudge. Let's read on. So Enoch just moves past that. He's like, okay, anyway, why are these hollow places, because we remember there are 4 of them, why is one separated from the other one? So Raphael answers, he's like, oh, that one over there, that one is separated for the spirits of the righteous. These other 3, that's for all the other spirits of the dead souls. He actually says, such a division has been made for the spirits of the righteous. Here there is a bright spring of water for them. So after death, if you want to be in the area where they have bright springs of water, you might need to get on the path of righteousness. If not, you'll be in one of those other 3 pits. But let's find out more in the next part. Part 14. So Enoch moves on from that, and he goes to another place to the west of the ends of the earth, where he saw a burning fire which ran without resting and paused not from its course day or night, but regularly. He asked, what is this which rests not? Raguel, the holy angel, says, this course of fire, which you haven't seen before, is the fire in the west, which persecutes all the luminaries of heaven. I don't know why they're persecuting the luminaries, right? Like all the things that are up in the sky, stars and such, but maybe they'll explain. Let's keep going. He moves on from that, and he goes back to the 7 mountains that he saw earlier, and he describes the 7th mountain being in the middle of them. He said it was excellent, and the throne that he saw earlier had fragrant trees that encircled it. Enoch said, "How beautiful is this tree, and fragrant. Its leaves are fair, and its blooms very delightful in appearance." Michael says, "Enoch, why do you ask me about this and about the fragrance? Why do you wish to learn the truth?" Michael, I also want to learn the truth. I don't blame Enoch. I would ask every question possible, like, why is this leaf like this? Why is the trunk of the tree like this? Why does it smell like this? Because I need to know. So Enoch's with me. This is exactly what he says. Enoch answers and says, "I wish to know about everything, but especially about this tree." Michael answers, and he says, "This is high mountain, which you have seen. The summit is the throne of God. It is his throne, where the Holy Great One, the Lord of glory, the eternal King, will sit, when he shall come down to visit the earth with goodness. This fragrant tree, no mortal is permitted to touch it till the great judgment. He shall then take vengeance on all, and bring it to its consummation forever. It shall then be given to the righteous and holy. Its fruits shall be for food to the elect. It shall be transplanted to the holy place, to the temple of the Lord, the eternal King." Is this the tree that Eve ate from? I don't know. It doesn't really say that it is. However, what it does say is that right now, mortals cannot touch this. However, in the end, after Judgment Day, it will be left here on earth for the people to enjoy, and they will have eternal life. It continues, verse 40, "They shall rejoice with joy and be glad. Into the holy place they shall enter. Its fragrance shall be in their bones, and they shall live a long life on earth, such as their fathers lived. And in their days shall no sorrow or plague or torment or calamity touch them." So what have we learned? People will be left here on earth. After everything is done, judgment has happened, the earth will be left to the people, and they will have this beautiful tree amongst other things. And everything will be lovely, no sorrow, no plague. So let's go on to the next part. Okay, so part 15, Enoch has moved on, and he's gone to another area, which he says is the middle of the earth. He said he saw a blessed place in which there were trees, and there were holy mountains that he noticed. The mountains to the east had a stream, and it flowed towards the south. There was another mountain that he saw, and there was a ravine in the middle. He said, "What object is this blessed land, which is entirely filled with trees, and this accursed valley between?" Uriel, the holy angel, said, "This accursed valley is for those who are accursed forever. Here shall all the accursed be gathered together, who utter with their lips against the Lord unseemly words, and his glory speak hard things. Here shall they be gathered together, and here shall be their place of judgment." Cool. So Enoch continues to travel. He goes east, and he sees another area that has a lot of gardens, trees and flowers, and then he sees a bunch of mountains. He continues to travel. Now he's going, and he sees mountains to the north. So he's doing a lot of traveling in this area and seeing all the wonders. Then he says he finally comes to the Garden of Righteousness. He says he saw numerous trees, but there were two great trees that were very beautiful, glorious, and magnificent, and the tree of knowledge, whose holy fruit they eat and know great wisdom. So now we're actually on the tree of wisdom. So what was the other tree? I don't know. They just have glorious trees where they are. So Enoch says, "How beautiful is this tree? How attractive it looks." Raphael, the holy angel, says, "This is the tree of wisdom, of which thy father old and thy aged mother who were before thee have eaten, and they learned wisdom, and their eyes were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they were driven out of the garden." Then he said he went to the ends of the earth, and there he saw great beasts. Each one was different, and also the birds were different in appearance. They had beauty, and they had a beautiful voice, each one differing from the other. He said, to the east of those beasts, he saw the earth and where the heaven rests, and the portals of the heaven were open. He describes that he sees how the stars of heaven come forward, and he counted the portals that each one of the stars were coming through, and he wrote down all the outlets, each individual star by itself, according to their number, their name, their course, and their position, along with their times and their months. And Uriel, who is over the luminaries, right? Uriel, archangel's over all of them. He's showing him this and explaining to him what each star is doing and what their names are. Now, isn't that crazy? We look at stars and they just seem innumerous. However, each one has a name, each one has a purpose, and each one has a time that it needs to show up to work. So let's go on to the next section when we start talking about more portals.